Hello, today I'm finally going to go over my first month at my Resell booth. For those that don't know, I waited 7-8 months on the list to get a booth at this Resell mall in my local area, hoping that I could find things at Goodwill, take them over there and easily flip them instead of having to deal with all the resale stuff online like shipping, packaging, returns, things like that. So I waited, finally got a spot. It wasn't the smallest spot they had. They had one for $150 a month. The one that came available for me was $175, and I didn't pass on it because supposedly they don't come up very often. So I took it thinking I could make up the $25 extra a month. You can see here what we did in our first month. We did a total of $205 supposedly. And if you come over here, you can see all the expenses. They take 10% off all the sales. We have to cover credit card fees plus the rent here. So it comes out to $208.11. So technically we owe them $3.11 for our first month. We didn't make any money. But if we go down here and see what's sold, there's one thing I want to point out to you. So once again, this was the first month. It was in March, right around St. Patrick's Day and Easter. So I let my wife and my sister put some crafts in there to see if those would sell, especially since we had a bigger booth. I was selling things like video games, toys, cards, things like that, hats. So try to sell some of my Jordans through there. As we can see here, a lot of crafts sold, some of my video games sold. My video game prices are pretty great. I am doing half of what price charting says. I got these games for pretty good deals, set them for a long time, couldn't get them sold. Try to sell them as a lot to make some quick money. No one wanted them for what I was asking. So I just did half price, so that way if resellers come in, they can pick them up and sell them if they wanted, and I could make some money. I realized that probably wasn't the best way. I probably should just still sold them as a lot just for less than what I wanted and got that chunk of money, because as you saw, I sold $205 worth of stuff and the cost of the booth was $208 total. So basically I just gave all this stuff away for free. I should have just sold it as a lot, took a little bit of a loss, and had that cash. But it was a fun experience. There was a 3-month minimum. I am now actually going into my 5th month at this booth. I've changed some things. I have figured things out over the months, and I think I got it where it's actually going to be profitable. So if we keep going through here, we can see more crafts sold. I did sell a Bop It here. That was cool. And some games. Pretty much games and Easter crafts is what was selling so far. But if we go down here and we look at this decorative scoop, which was something my sister made. She sold 2 of them for $2.50, so it should have been a total of $5. But over here they marked it in the computer as $0 as a profit, because this place is managed by people, so I don't have to do it, which is awesome. That's one of the reasons why I was so excited about it. It would make reselling super easy. I would get to do the fun stuff of finding the items to sell, and someone else would have to deal with selling them and not shipping them, but packaging, I guess, putting them in bags, any returns. There's actually no returns allowed at this place unless it's pre-discussed with the seller, so that's also nice. But as you can see here, they put in 0. They hit the wrong button, so we actually made $5 more than we thought we made. So a total of $210 for the first month, and we owed $208 basically. So we actually profited $2 in our first month. Woohoo! But then again, of course, nothing was profit because we had all the cost of the items sold. So we came up under, obviously. And especially for my sister, she profited because I didn't make her pay any of the spot rent. I was just helping her out. So she sold about $65 worth of stuff, and I just gave her cash. So really, I came up way short the first month. But as I mentioned, I learned something. So that's everything that sold. I did sell a hat here for $10. That was pretty cool. The first month was kind of slow trying to figure it out. This place is in a large snowbird area, and March is right when they're all leaving. So these past months I've been going through the summer here in Arizona where there's no snowbirds in this area. People still go here, but it's not very frequently, and it's not as many people as will come in the fall and in the winter. So I'm hoping I can make it through to that time and see how a fall and winter does. Maybe I'll make tons of money. But what I figured out is video games sell pretty good. Crafts don't sell amazingly, at least the crafts we were selling, because of the second month, third month I realized that. But sports cards, I had a bunch of sports cards that I purchased off like Whatnot and Drip and eBay for pretty good deals. Kind of like this right here. If you haven't seen my short on these, selling junk wax basically. So I started selling those just because I had them sitting in my office, taking up space. I wasn't going to open them, and they sold really quick. And it hit me. I'm like, I could be a card shop, a card and video game store, which would be awesome. So that's what I focused on. I asked the mall of peddlers if I could move to a smaller booth, because at this time, about 3 months in, they were taking some of the larger booths that they had and splitting them in half to make even smaller booths than what they previously had. So I got one of those. So I was able to cut my rent down from $175 to $135 basically, which helped out a lot. I was hoping it would have been a little bit cheaper, but it helped out a lot. And then I'm focusing more on sports cards, sports memorabilia, and video games still. I'll probably sell some DVDs in there and some other toys that I find, kind of like 90 to early 2000 nostalgia stuff. But really I'm focusing on sports cards right now, and they're selling great. So as I mentioned, I'm going in my 5th month. I just finished my 4th month at this location, and I went from selling $205 the first month to over $405. I think it was $415 this last month, my 4th month. So that's great. And I reduced my cost from $208, let's say, minus $40, so $160. So I'm finally profiting, not only paying for the spot, but also paying for the product I sell and making money on top of it. So I'm pretty excited about it. My next video should be even better news, I hope. And yeah, if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. If you enjoy this, want to see more about this specific source of income I'm trying to do, please like and subscribe. And till next time, hope you enjoy.